went to see Book of Mormon. I was pissed. I've been waiting to see this musical for years. And when I walked into the theater, I saw what is typical for theater experiences. Hella old and or hella white. And for this musical, it was the latter. The audience was like 99.9% white. I can actually say that I think I was the only colored person in the entire orchestra section. I also knew that this musical would be a giant satire against the Mormon religion. It didn't seem to be making fun of Mormonism as much as it seemed to be highlighting and like poking fun at colonialism. So if you don't know what Book of Mormon is about, it's pretty much about a group of Mormons, particularly two newly recruited, I guess, Mormons who go to Uganda, Africa to share the good news about Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. One Mormon who absolutely has no idea what he's talking about, and one who's like super excited and ready to share but really doesn't get the opportunity to do so. So there's a whole joke about Uganda and like, where is that? No one knows. And then they get to Uganda and there's already a group of Mormons there and they have 0 baptisms so far. As in, they haven't converted anyone. When we get to Uganda, we see that the African people are not happy. They have no desire to know who God is, and they have an entire song that I will write the title down here.
Adiga Evo.
Does it mean no worries for the rest of our days? If you to Heavenly Father? Holy moly, I said it like 13 times!
Now that hurt my heart as a Christian woman. The representation of God is not, in my opinion, true, but to move past all of the religious aspect of this musical, which were already pretty problematic, there's actually one part of the musical where Jesus calls someone a dick. But moving past that, the African people were represented in the most despicable way possible.
And 80% of us have AIDS.
The overarching theme here seems to be, let's send a group of white men who are heterosexual, or at least pretend to be, to save the day in Africa. Everything wrong with America now. So while I was sitting in my seat as I continued to watch this musical, and I'm telling you, I was almost like this close to walking out numerous times. So I did some research and I started to wonder, like, why is the Mormon church not angry about this? Why don't they seem to care? Vice.com, and I also looked up a article written by a student, I assume from Harvard, and I was really intrigued because it seems like the Mormon people don't necessarily care about how they're represented in the musical. In fact, I feel like the African people were the ones that were looked down on and made fun of the entire musical. So I'm gonna leave the link for the article from Harvard because I think it's really good. It's called A Cringe-Worthy Depiction of Africa, and it could not be more accurate in my opinion. Despite the fact that the person who becomes their later prophet is literally preaching absolute nonsense, not even preaching the word, they convert and they get baptized. The song that follows is called I Am Africa. A group of Mormon men start to sing about the fact that they have now saved the day. They have now made Africa better. And the whole time I was just like, why is no one mad about this? There are a number of times in this entire experience where the audience is laughing hysterically. They are just falling out of their seat, finding everything super funny. And I couldn't help but think, this is only funny to you. This is not funny to me, being someone who's African American. Now, satire is meant to be satire. It's meant to be poking fun at real things. But at the end of the day, this is real issues that are not funny. And when I look around and I see a bunch of white people laughing at African jokes, and like, it made me so uncomfortable. One of the other things that I noticed in this musical that really made me upset was the fact that the African dialect and the African language was not accurate. Zero accuracy representative of Uganda or their language or their culture, except for the fact that they're experiencing violence and rape and everything bad that goes on in African places. Not even in Uganda language. It's not even in their language. This is actually gibberish. We also have another moment where one of the Africans in this Uganda village is a doctor. However, he has maggots in his scrotum. That is mentioned numerous times throughout the musical, and even when they get baptized and convert to Mormonism, the last line he says of the entire musical is, "I still have maggots in my scrotum." And I was fuming when I left that theater. To be honest, that musical did absolutely nothing to redeem white culture. It just made them look even worse. Your girl just wasn't interested in seeing everything wrong with America glorified and highlighted by white men, about white men helping Africa on a Broadway stage. Especially considering how dang expensive the tickets were.